welcome to the 757 Spy Flight over on YouTube. Welcome to Hannover Airport. This is a really cool little airport, and we're on VAXEV for this. This is a little bit of an unusual video that I'm doing today. And hello and welcome. My name is Dave. I do the Spy Flights over on Twitch, and every now and then I like to come over here to YouTube and do what I call the Complete Cold and Dark series. This is from the Complete Cold and Dark airplane all the way up to shutting the power off. This is every button, so if you're trying to learn one of the increasingly complex airplanes that we have here on Microsoft Flight Simulator, maybe this will help out just a little bit. Today we are in Manchester Airport. We're on VAXEV and we're heading on over. Actually, we're in Hanover and we're going over to Manchester. It's early. I need some more coffee. This is about an hour and 55-minute flight. We'll take the usual break in the middle of this during cruise, so you get to see literally every button, but don't have to sit and listen to all the silly jokes and stuff. We do have a little bit of weather in the area. It's not really bad. Should be incredibly nice weather today. So we're all set. We're ready to go. Let's go ahead and hop into the sim cockpit here and go ahead and start getting into a little bit of trouble here. We are at Hanover. This is a really nice... Oh, there's supposed to be the music going out. Okay, so we're over here at Hanover, a real nice tower view as we can go and we can zoom on by the tower. This is the drone cam, if you're unfamiliar. It's also called, I believe, the showcase camera, as we zip past a really cool kids play area at Hanover Airport too. Man, they never had nice play areas like that. Anyhow, we are over and we are in the Fenix A320. And one of the reasons I wanted to use this airplane, we've got, videos just out on the 777 and the MD-11, but I wanted to hop back into the Fenix A320. This is one of the first real totally study level airplanes here, and there's so many things to learn about this, and I picked up a few things along the way. So we'll be talking about CPDLC today. We're on VAXEV so that we can get a CPDLC or PDC clearance. Pre-departure clearance, a text message with our clearance, as opposed to having to wait on the radio. We'll see if that's going to work for us today. And also we'll take a look at some of the preparations that I'm doing to come in that are a little bit new since the last time I started, last time I did a flight like this. So this is the Fenix A320. We've got the new modern Lufthansa livery. It's gate 15. Let's come on over here and note gate 15 in my flight notes here. So gate 15, by the way, the flight notes that I use here, look below in the description. They're down there. You can copy and paste them into Notepad and use them for your own flights too. I changed them. Actually, I haven't really changed this format in a while. It seems to be working, and if something's working, why fix it? Okay, let's come on in here, and we are in the Fenix. So the first step that I usually do in the Fenix is get the Fenix app and tap to import the flight plan from SimBrief. Going to be a little bit of a late departure here, so that's okay. We're going to go to ground services, and we're going to toggle the jetway. This is going to come and get our jetway, and out it comes. So let's go ahead and pop that in. This is a really nice little payware airport that I think has been around for a while. This automatically opens your 1L door. At this point in time, the next thing for me to do is go and power on the airplane. So we're going to go ahead. Well, actually, the real pilots are going to do a few things. First of all, they're going to make sure the throttles are at idle. They're going to make sure the speed brakes are down. They're going to make sure the flaps are up. Parking brakes are on right now. I think I've got chocks out, so I think there's a chance that parking brakes would be off. And also make sure that your gear lever is down, including all of your other stuff too. Your Thrustmaster, your Logitech, whatever kind of throttles you have there. I'm also going to go ahead and just move my controls a little bit. That makes sure that my side stick and my rudder pedals are connected. Okay, so that's there too. Now we can go and power on the airplane. Battery 1, battery number 2, okay, and then external power. I usually will come down here and do nav lights, no smoking, and emergency exit lights. Turn these up, and then I usually come down here and I don't touch anything. There's something that goes on. If I try and touch something or something like that, one of the alarm bells just goes off and it doesn't stop. It only seems to be happening in my airplane. I've tried to do a reinstall and it hasn't quite fixed it yet. So I don't know what to say. So you get to sit and wait for the self-test, which is about 40 seconds or so. It's going to beep a few times, and when it stops beeping, that means everything's good. If it keeps beeping, then you just do a cold and dark restart of the airplane and it fixes it. Okay, so you see some of the... Okay, and that's it right there. You see where it says smoke detector fault and all of that here? This is where the beeping would have just, beep, 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 and there's no way to stop it. So if you have that happening to your airplane, go to panel states and do a cold and dark default restart of your airplane, and that should do it for you. All right, so airplane is slowly coming to life here. Let's also go and make sure that wing and logo lights today is the 15th. That's an odd day, so I use the odd number of nav and logo lights. There's 2 identical systems. No smoking is auto, emergency exit lights are on, and that looks good. Now we're going to come over here, and I've been really trying to use a lot more stuff in the electronic flight bag, the EFB, or the iPad. And I've been trying to use this an awful lot more. So there's our flight plan. That's got all of our flight data in there that we need. And then also Navigraph charts also work here too. And I really like having Navigraph charts in here. So let's come on over here, and we need to pick up a few things. We're going to go and do ground charts first. And what we're going to do is come on down here. There's the airport. I want parking stands, and I want the airport. Okay? Next, we're going to come out of Hannover here. So let's go up here and click ground charts and then do the departure. The departure is the VAXEV 1 Foxtrot. This is where I think it could be a little bit better. If they would please give us a search, because there's an awful lot. So we're looking for there it is, VAXEV 1 Foxtrot. And I'm going to click on it and star it. And I'm also going to turn it into night mode, because night mode's cooler. All right, so come on in here. And let's look over here, and what we want to do is see, do we have a top altitude for our departure? Yes, an initial climb clearance is 4,000 feet. Okay, we got that. That's all good. So we've got that over there. Now we're going to get out of Hannover and go down to Manchester, and we're going to go and look at the arrival. Our arrival is the OTBED 1 mic. So arrivals, OTBED 1 mic. There we go. Just have a quick look at it here. We've done this before. It's got that really weird little twisty turny thing there. In the end, usually we don't have to do the full loop, but we'll see if that happens this time. Close the arrival, and our approach is going to be 23 right. I've already gone online and checked to see which runways are in use. So we're looking for ILS 23 right. Got that one. So now we can come close the approaches. Let's go to ground charts. And one of the most confusing airports ever. Good old Manchester. It's why we love it, right? And we'll also get parking stands. And now all of a sudden we've got all of our stuff here. I'm going to go back out of here now. And let's go. There we go. And now I'm going to go and hit the 0. That zeroes us in. I'm going to do the little line through the airplane. That means it's going to follow the airplane here. So no matter where we are, it follows us. And now we're going to zoom all the way in here, and that's going to be our ground chart. And it takes a second to load the data, so you have to be a little bit patient on these things. But eventually, there we go. And if we go in a little tighter, you can see that we are at gate, looks like 15, or is it 14? Actually, this says 16, 15, 15A. I think we're at gate 14 according to the chart, but it says 15. Well, maybe not. No, we are at gate 14. That 15 was over that jetway. See how tricky things can get? We are, and I thought we were at 16. Okay, clearly I need more coffee. So we are at gate 14. All right, so all this looks good. Let's go ahead and start doing a few things. So we're going to go over to the first officer's side. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit geeky about some of the way this stuff works. So first of all, we're going to turn up the brightness on these little boxes here that are above the flight management computer. This is actually how you communicate with the CPDLC system. I basically call it text messaging for airplanes, and it really is pretty cool. So we're going to go over here to the ATSU system, Air Traffic Services Unit, and we're going to grab that. Now we're going to go to AOC mode, which is Airline Operations Control. We're going to go to Flight Init, and we're going to init a data request. Init data request. A lot of knitting going to go on here right now. And there is your first dumb joke. Okay, so DLH 441, EDDV, EGCC, that looks awesome. Okay, let's come on over here, and we're going to go to Flight Management Guidance Control, I think. Check your nav data. If you're on Navigraph, make sure you got nav data, and that's really good. So now we'll go to the init page here and init a request here. While that's going on, I'm going to turn these down about 3 clicks. And that's these here. Might need to be up 1. Okay, that looks good. Yep, I can see that. That looks nice. Okay, let's slide over here. EDDV, EGCC. We are DLH. We are Lufthansa 441. And there is our flight plan uplink. Now let's go on up here, and we're going to go and do the IRSs. And I've seen several other people do it different ways. So I don't know if this is the right way. I do IR number 1. I turn it to nav. The fault light flashes. It goes to align and on battery. I wait for the battery light to go out, and then I do the same thing with number 2. And I wait for the battery to go out, and then number 3. And that's been the basic way that I've been doing this. Fire checks. So we can go and do one fire check. We won't do them all. So take your mouse, put it over the test button, and hold the button down. There we go. Hold it down. Don't let it up. Now, with your camera commands, look down and see if you have a master warning light. Look down here and see if you've got the ECAM to-do list. And look down and see if the red light is on under your engine controller. And then release. And that way you can kind of do a little bit more of an advanced fire check here. Okay, now with all of that, let's come on over here, and I'm just going to finish up this page. The cost index, so exit and pilot briefing, our cost index today is 60. So come on over here, and we're going to hit a 60 for our cost index. And our filed flight altitude, we filed for flight level 360. And I already did my flight plan on SimBrief. We should be filed. So now let's go and see if CPDLC works. How do we do that? This is a little bit of a question that I've had several times. First of all, this is vPilot. We're signed on to VATSIM. Let's click the ATIS first. And Hannover Airport Information India. Expect radar vectors, blah, blah, blah. ILS Zulu, transition level 70. When airborne contact, blah, blah, blah. Weather is really groovy. Okay, let's go to EDDV delivery. EDDV delivery. Here's the thing. PDC DCL logon, EDDV. That means CPDLC is supposedly going to work here. This is where I get even more geeky about this, because this really speeds up the process. So let's go and do an ATC request now. Okay? Don't remember how I got here? Let's do McDo menu, ATSU, Air Operations, and ATC request. Okay? That's how we got there. Pre-departure clearance. Okay? And there it is. And if you've already gone and downloaded flight plans and stuff, it fills out the top line for you. What's our gate number? We're at gate 14. Boy, it's a good thing I verified that. What is the ATIS ID? Well, that's over here. It's Information India. Yay. So put the letter I up here. And now, station logon. What's the call sign? EDDV. You found it right there. So EDDV. Okay, let's go ahead and pop that in. And that's it. You could also put a couple little lines of text in there, like, hey, thank you for the clearance, and happy Friday, or, you know, we need a priority dispatch because, you know, the beer's getting cold or hot or something. You could do that. So I'm going to go now and hit send. And when the little star goes away and everything blanks out, that's a send. So we're going to go to ATC, Air Operations, and Received Messages. And if you look there, it says Pre-Departure Clearance, Clearance Request Received, Standby. Okay, so that looks really good. Let's come on over here and let's get our passengers walking down the jetway. Phoenix, and mass and balance, and load the airplane. I usually do a fast load, which is 6 minutes. Otherwise, you're sitting here for about half an hour, and we'll be out of here by then. While we're at it, we could go and do our altimeter settings, which we know from our ATIS that it's 1012. So let's go and do 1012. I'm going to be a good pilot and go 1012 here. And let's come on over and do 1012 there. Okay, that looks good too. Load sheet is now in. Let's go ahead and do our load sheet while we're waiting for the clearance to come back. So let's come on over here and do page B for init. And over here, it's going to be 54.9. That's our zero fuel weight, 54.9 slash. Slide over here, go up a page, and our zero fuel weight center of gravity is 30.4. So 30.4. Uh-oh, it's not my cell phone. That is this little thing over here flashing. See how it says ATC message? We have an ATC message. And if we look down here and look up, look at that. DLH 441 received. Request being processed. Stand by. We're in. Okay? So let's just close this. And look at that. Our PDC has shown up. Look at that. There it is. We just got our clearance. And again, we didn't have to stand in line while 20 other people are trying to get their clearance from ATC. This really is great for VATSIM, and I've got to imagine that this is awesome in the real world of aviation too. So our clearance says we're going to be departing off of runway 27 left. So get your notes over here. Oh, look at that, 27 left, just like we filed. Via the VAXEV 1 Foxtrot, just like we filed. How about that? Squawk is 2427. 2427. That looks good. Now we need to do next. What's this? Well, there's 2 pages, so let's go to page 2. Next frequency is going to be 120.405. There we go. ATIS I request on stand-up. There we go. That is our clearance. So now we have to say, yes, we're going to do this. Now, if you don't like your clearance, then you would go unable. We love our clearance, so we're going to go and say Wilco. And then do you want to send your Wilco? Yes, we do. Now, this is not instantaneous like some of your phone text messaging can be, but it is pretty fast. Okay, so we're good to go there. Now we're done with that. Let's continue on with our workload here. Let's first start off by accepting this. That looks good, and we're going to return. Now then, we got a few more things that we got to do. So let's come over here, and we need the flight plan up for this. Pilot brief. And we're going to go to the planned fuel section here. I'm using the Lido style of flight plan, by the way. And there's a new Lido style of charts, too, that's available out for flight simmers. I got to do something with that soon. Okay, first things first. So let's see. What do we need here? We need taxi fuel. Uh-oh. Phone's ringing again. Who is this? ATC message. I'm going to click this. And now let's come and see what we've got. So let's close this message. And ATC request status, EDDV clearance confirmed. Our clearance is now confirmed, and we're good. So there we go. All right, aircraft is loaded. Ooh, passengers are aboard. We got to get going. So let's see here. Taxi is 403. So we're going to come over here and go 0.403. There's our taxi. Next is route reserve, and that's going to be the contingency here. And that's going to be 0.639. So 0.639. Alternate fuel is 1.41. So 1.41 is alternate fuel. And then the last number is FinRes, final reserve, 1.001. So 1.001. And there's final time. Now come over here and see where the fuel planning here is orange. Click it, and if it turns green, that means your fuel planning is good, and you're all set and ready to go. I'll bet we're done fueling the airplane too. So let's go ahead and get the actual fuel in the tanks, which is 6.8. And what we're going to do is it says we need 6.7. We have 6.8. So we're going to put that in there, and life is good too. Nav accuracy is upgraded. GPS primary is set. We're 10 minutes from pushback. Let's go ahead and start up the old APU. So look down here and see if the flap opens. It should say flap open down here. Come on, flap. Don't cause a flap. Let's have the flap open. Come on. Let's go, flap. No, it doesn't say flap there. Are we going to get it in there? I think it's, there it goes, flap open. Cool. I'm going to start up the old APU here, and all of that looks good. Now that we've gone and done this page, let's go ahead and install the departure flight plan. And the flight plan EDDV, we already know from our clearance what we're doing. We are departing off of runway 27 left. 27 left. This is going to be the VAXEV 1 Foxtrot departure. I'm looking over at my notes. VAXEV 1 Foxtrot and insert. Coming into London, coming into Manchester, we are expecting 23 right, ILS 23 right. It's the OTBED 1 Mike arrival. OTBED 1 Mike. There's no transition. Do we have a VIA? No VIA. I don't think we want MCT. I'm going to say no VIA on that one. That means we're flying over the runway and doing a procedure turn. I don't think we're doing that. Okay, so with all that, I'm going to go back to init and page B, because if we slide over here, you can see the final load sheet has arrived. Man, we're busy today. Zero fuel weight we have is 55.0. So our new final zero fuel weight is 55.0. Slash, go to page 2. And our center of gravity is 28.4, so 28.4, and those are the final numbers. We'll put those in. I'm going to accept this and return. Let's come out over here, and we're going to get out of this. Let's go and do our departure performance. Okay, so runway 27 left, that's correct. Let's synchronize our data from the load sheet. I always leave my packs on so that the air conditioning can stay on, because I care about the comfort of my passengers. Calculate, and then send to the McDo. So flaps are going to be 1, trims up 4, 130, 135, and 135. So we can come to performance, up 4, 130, 135, 135. Transition level, it says 5,000 feet. I think they said 7,000 feet is what we're doing today. So let's pop that in for that. All right, all this is good. We do have the APU up and running. Let's get the bleed on for a little bit of AC. I'm going to turn the aft cabin temperature down 1 click because it's warmer back there. We can disconnect from ground power. Let's also come on up here, and we're going to turn on our fuel pumps because I always forget. I'm going to also do seat belts. I'm going to do my beacon, and we're not going to forget the crew supply of oxygen, and all of that looks good. Come on back here. Go to the Fenix side. We're going to go to ground services. I'm going to disconnect the ground power unit. Come on down here. We have not set our squawk code. Squawk today is going to be 2427. So clear, 2427. I'm going to start squawking mode Charlie on the taxiways. That way we're getting ready to go. And now I'm going to get pushback helper, which is how we can push back the airplane. And let's go ahead and connect the tug. There's something weird about the door right now. And so the door, there goes the jetway, and there goes the door closing, so that's good. And I'm done with this page. Chocks, everything's clear, so I'm going to go to my flights on that. Actually, no. We're 9 minutes late. Oh, well. And let's go ahead and get on the radio. And our 120405 is what we're doing. So 120405. And I'm using the Logitech radio panel, which I think is really, really handy in VATSIM. It really is cool. I'm also using the WinWing controller, which I think is great. That's the autopilot. So 120405. There's a little bit of a lag between the Logitech radio panel and the numbers there. So if you have to tune fast, just do it within the airplane. There it is, 120405. Let's get on the radio and listen on in. That looks really good. So everything's looking pretty perfect here. I've got everything ready here. Everything's ready there. We are at gate 16. Let's go ahead and just do a visual look around the airplane. And we hear people on VAXEV, so now it's time to do that VAXEV thing. At this point, we are completely, fully ready for departure. You know what I forgot to do? Let's come over here to EDDV and start. And we're going to go to our departure. I forgot to set our cleared altitude, which is 4,000 feet. Let's set 4,000 feet. And 2, 3, 4. The wind wing is just perfect. Shall we call in? Now, I'm going to go over here and do one last thing. I'm going to double-click the EDDV ATIS here, and now it's information Juliet. Always good to check that because that sometimes updates fast. The altimeter is still 1012. Shall we go? Hannover delivery, hello from Lufthansa 441. We are in A320 at stand 14. Information Juliet is now on board, requesting startup and pushback.
Lufthansa 441, Hannover delivery, hello. Startup is approved for pushback, contact ground, frequency 121-955, goodbye.
121-955, startup is approved for Lufthansa 441, thanks. Okay, in Germany, you get to start your engines first, and then you get to push back. 955. There we go. On a VAXEV event, I cheat a little bit here. I'm not going to start my engines until I actually get to push back, because sometimes you get a delay, and we don't want a delay. Information Juliet, let's call in there. Hannover ground, hello from Lufthansa 441 at stand 14 with information Juliet requesting pushback.
Lufthansa 441, Hannover ground, hello. Stand by for pushback shortly. There's a speedboat A320 also pushing.
Lufthansa 441 standing by. Okay, and it's that one right there, so we'll just wait for a second. Unless there's one over there. There's a Ryanair. And that's pretty good. The ATC here on VAXEV in Germany is just absolutely some of the best. Their procedures, if you're an
Lufthansa 441, are you able for pushback face south on the yellow lane behind you?
Lufthansa 441, we are able to push back south onto the yellow lane.
Lufthansa 441, then pushback approved face south on the yellow line behind you.
Push approved, yellow line facing south for Lufthansa 441. The reason that they're asking for that is if I was using GSX right now, we wouldn't be able to make that kind of a turn. I don't think GSX would do that. Because I'm using Pushback Helper, which is free, by the way, at flightsim.to. That's how we can do that. Let's go. And out we go. We are out. And there's the yellow line out there. So we're going to push back and do a tight turn around there. Oh, a Eurowings just popped in, coming in to do a flight. So there's the yellow line. We're going to keep our push going. While we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and we can come in here. And I'm going to go and turn the starter on and starting engine 1 while we're doing our push. It's automatic on this plane, so there we go. And now we're going to do our turn. And now we can tighten up the turn a little bit if we need to. Tighten up the turn a little bit more. And we're going to try and put ourselves right on that yellow line. And stop. Perfect. Parking brakes going on. Parking brakes are on. Let's go ahead and release the tug and turn that off. And our start is good. So the auto start works really nice on this one, and we're good to go there. We got a great CPDLC clearance. That's awesome. Absolutely love it. Okay, this engine's available. Starting engine number 2. Engine number 2 starts.
Beepbird 977 Juliet, taxi rally point runway 27 left via Alpha 1.
And you can see we've got some really nice
Bravo.
stuff in here from Lufthansa.
27 left, Alpha 1 and Bravo, Speedbird 977 Juliet.
That's a little loud.
EJ240, ready for push and start.
And we're getting a good start on this engine.
In economy, you can also
EDDV Hannover.
The cabin in this airplane is really extraordinarily done, and we have such great frame rates through it.
your seatbelt and pull it tight.
I don't think it actually models a first-class cabin. I can live with that. I mean, not that big of a deal. And we got a good start on engine number 2, it looks like. All right, looking good. So at this point, I'm going to get the starter to normal. We're done with the APU, so APU can go off. Now we're going to go and do our control checks. So let's go ahead and stick all the way forward. Side stick release, and it should go back to normal. All the way back, release. We do these really, really fast in Flight Sim. I think figuring out the correct sensitivities to make those work correctly would be a good thing to do. But I think we move our controls around a little bit too heavy, too much. And trim's going to be up 0.4. So there's down, up 0.4. There we go. That looks great. Flaps are going to be 1. So flaps are 1. Speed brakes are armed. Auto brakes are max. And we're good to go. Let's come on up here and do the nose light. We're going to do a cabin call. Let them know that they're ready to go. Come on over here. We are holding short on the yellow line at 14. We are going to runway 127 left. So go to the airport. So we're going to 27 left. So it's the shorter runway here. So it's probably going to be Alpha over there. I always like to take a quick look at that before we go. Okay. Seats in good shape. Good, looks good. How about a call in?
977 Julie, contact Hannover Tower 120.180.
120180 is tower. While airplanes are moving around, if you can, pre-settings frequencies is so good. 120180. And the reason I really like to, yammer on and on about presetting a frequency, taking a second to do that, you get really busy in the simulator cockpits. And we're essentially doing the jobs of 2 people here. So by doing that, that's just a nice thing to do. Let's get ready to go. Hanover ground, hello again from Lufthansa 441, pushed and started from stand 14 on the yellow line facing south, requesting taxi.
Lufthansa 441, taxi to holding point runway 27 left via Alpha 2 and Alpha.
Holding point runway 27 left via Alpha 2 and Alpha for Lufthansa 441.
EDDV is going to request pushback.
Holy moly, dude. Turn down your freaking microphone.
EDDV is going ready for pushback.
I mean, seriously. That's actually one of the biggest problems that I think we're having right now is people just blowing people's ears out.
smoking.
Pushback to roof facing east, EGCC, let's go.
Okay, we're going to go Alpha to Alpha. That says Alpha 1.
EGCC, let's go. Confirm runway 27 right, we were given.
There's a Ryanair over there. There's an EasyJet pushing back.
Got a clearance for runway 27 left.
Okay, sorry, we can start 27 right.
You're going to notice my taxiing is kind of all over the place. One of the things that happens is some of our controls get a little bit old, and
contact back delivery 120.405.
Some of our controllers get a little bit messed up, and mine is getting messed up, so I got to order a new one. You will need a little bit of thrust to taxi with this one. Now, over on the other Airbus with the IAE engines, that engine idles a little bit faster. And there we go, looking good. And the ECAM checklist says it's time to do the test. And that's looking good.
EDDV is going to confirm we're given 27 right because we were given the VAXEV 10 departure.
There we go.
Is it 25 Oscar? You received the clearance for runway 27 left. When you're not fine with that and you want to request runway 27 right, I need you to contact Hannover delivery on 120.405.
Roger, contacting delivery 120, this one's from 5 EDDV Oscar.
Okay, and around we go. Everything's looking good.
441, contact Hannover Tower on 120.18.
120.18 for Lufthansa 441. Dr. Chow, thank you so much. Have a good week. Okay, now then, as we're approaching here, usually here in Germany, this is they're going to give you your departure frequency in the EDDV. And let's see if it's in there. Automated weather, runways in use, parallel approaches, transition level, contact Bremen radar 119er, so 11490. So they'll give you your frequency, your next frequency in the EDDV here, 119490. And I was a little off to the side here. We don't want to run into the Euro wings. 119. Towers 1201849. Okay, let's verify that. 11949. Cool. I think we're all ready to go here. And looks like we're a little stacked up here in Hanover. A little unusual this early in the day for us, but I'll take it anytime. Really good ATC. And you heard that other pilot was basically said, hey, look, you've got to go through, you know, you're expected to do things correctly. More and more here on VATSIM. All right, let's look down here. This looks good. Make sure the earpiece is great. The ECAM checklist is good too. We're ready to go. Another thing to do is to come over here now. Up, that sound is the cabin. And if we come down here and do this and this, they're going to tell us cabin is secured. So reset VHF1 and off. Uh-oh, let's get on up here. Whoa, they are already lining up and waiting. Hanover Tower, hello from Lufthansa 441, approaching runway 27 right with Juliet.
Lufthansa 441, behind departing Fenix A320, line up runway 27 left, behind.
27 left, behind the departing Eurowings A320, line up and wait for Lufthansa 441. Okay, so they'll usually tell you in Europe, line up and wait behind. Strobes are going to go on. Let's extend the landing lights. That looks pretty good. And around we go. This got fast. By the way, if you're having some frame rate problems, click the microphone over on the co-pilot side, and that gets rid of the electronic flight bag. Saves you a little bit of system resource there. All right, lined up and waiting. Perfect. Everything's good to go here. Final cabin call, let them know, hey, we're really serious about doing that takeoff thing. And looking good. We got an EasyJet behind us here. After takeoff, we switch the frequency, but we're waiting for our clearance. And all of this looks good there too. Can't imagine what I've forgotten. I'm sure there's something. These airplanes are so amazing. Oh, there's our windsock there. Little bit of a breeze there.
Lufthansa 441 sind available to us, runway 27 left cleared for takeoff, bye-bye.
Clear for takeoff, runway 27 left for Lufthansa 441. Bye, thanks. Okay, throttle's up about halfway. And engines are stable. We're going to turn on the clock. We're going to come up here and do the last little click of the landing lights. There we go, landing lights. And manual flex. SRS and runway are set. Auto thrust is blue. It's up and away time. Kind of the last thing I do is landing lights. That says tower. Okay, we're going 100 knots. And there's V1, hands off the throttle. There's rotate, flying time. Positive rate gear, or actually this is an Airbus, so we say positive climb as opposed to positive rate. Positive rate is a Boeing line. Centering up my flight directors, and
Hannover Tower 120.180.
there's Bremen. I
Tower
just flipped the tower
120,
frequency.
Escalator 667, thank you. Lufthansa 998, on 7 heading, cleared ILS Zulu, runway 27 left.
Cleared ILS Zulu, runway 27 left, Lufthansa
Flight
998.
directors are centered. Bremen, Gooden, hello from Lufthansa 441. We are passing 2,100. Lever climb.
Lufthansa 441, Bremen radar, hello, identified. Climb flight level 100. When passing 5,000 feet, proceed direct OTBED Sierra November.
When 5,000 feet, Oscar Sierra November for Lufthansa Cargo, Lufthansa 441.
And Lufthansa 441, climb flight level 100.
And climb flight level 100 for Lufthansa 441. Thank you. I forgot to acknowledge that. Okay, now then, we're obviously busy as hell, right? It's no sin to go to the autopilot at this point in time because we're so busy. Speed's coming up on our departure. So let's go direct to Oscar Sierra November is our direct to, and that's at 5,000 feet. There is the S4 flaps going up. That looks good. Let's also turn off the auto speed brakes. Coming up on 5,000 feet. So Oscar Sierra November is our direct to. Waypoint 5,000 feet and insert. There we go. Oscar Sierra November. There's our turn. If you get a chance, have a chance. Look outside. Wow, is the countryside
Lufthansa
nice.
998, confirm you want us to maintain current heading?
Lufthansa 998, firm, maintain present heading until you capture the local line.
Roger, and thank you, Lufthansa 998.
Okay, let's bring the map out a little click here. And we're going to go to airports. And I should have also gone terrain radar for the departure too. There's our speed going out, 6,000 feet. All is right with the world. Okay, I usually like to go over here. And we're going to go to, let's see, what do I usually do? I usually do progress on this side. No, flight plan on this side. And over here we go to performance for now. And then progress. There is our altimeter reset. So standard, standard, and standard. There's our altimeters. There's 8,000 feet. We're cleared to 10,000 feet, flight level 100. And out we go. Nice lake. And if we were doing this flight, this is what it would look like. Uh-oh, I forgot. Okay, so we're on VAXEV, but you see that tag over there? I'm still in multiplayer from yesterday's spy flight. So there's going to be a bunch of extra airplanes in here. Maybe after we get out of this air traffic control zone, we'll go turn it off. There's 10,000 feet, and not bad. Let's see here. What do we have ahead of us here? There is ED. We do have a center, so we'll probably get a handoff here. Another great way to check is to come over here and use VATSIM radar. Zoom on out a little bit and see what we got. So let's see. There we are right there. I think we'll probably be getting to talk to Unicom. I doubt we're going to come over here to Hanover here.
Lufthansa 441, free climb, monitor Unicom 122, distant lake, bye-bye.
Lufthansa 441, free climb, monitor Unicom 122.8. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Okay, so 122.8 and then free climb for us. So 122.8. And again, there's a bit of a delay when you're tuning the radio. 122. So you get to, you slow down when you get there. There's 122.8. Okay, our final cruise for today's flight was flight level 360. So let's come on over here, dial that in, and we can go and look at our arrival stuff now. So flight level 360, and we'll just make it a nice managed climb so we don't use too much fuel and stuff. And let's ensure the climb is going on. There is our climb. We're on 122.8, and all is right there too. So let's see, we're still on multiplayer, so we need to get rid of that. How do you do that? Okay, we're out of the air traffic control zone, so escape, general options, and this can be a real problem. This sometimes will shut down your engines if you try to go and change an option mid-flight. I don't think it'll do that on this airplane, which is good. Okay, there we go. So let's see, speed limit has been exceeded. Oh no, how did I do that? I didn't mean to. I'm a bad pilot. All right, so let's talk about the arrival. It's never too early to do that. We are 476 miles out, but there's a couple of things that we can do right now while the workload is really, really low. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up my range rings. So over here on the co-pilot side, we're gonna go and hit the upper left corner of the flight plan page. And that's gonna put us over in the revisions, but we're gonna go and do a fix. This is also where you could set up a hold, by the way. But let's go ahead and we're gonna set a fix in place. And our fix is going to be the end of the runway at Manchester. And that's going to be runway 23 right. So Manchester is EGCC. And our runway is going to be 23 right. Okay, so let's put that in there. And I want a ring around the airport that's 5 miles. So we're going to draw a ring around the airport. Now, we've got several fixes that we can do. We're going to do a second one. This one is the same thing, EGCC, and the runway is 23 right, 23 right, and we're going to put that in there just like before, and this is going to be a 10-mile range ring. But we're going to do one more thing this time. We're going to go over here, and we're going to get the opposite or the reciprocal of the runway. First of all, let's go ahead and zoom our map out here. So let's zoom this out just a little bit, and out we go. That's going to be kind of nice. We'll wait and let it catch up. So we're fairly close to our course, and that's good. Let's go to Manchester, and we're going to get starred, and we're going to go to the airport. So we're landing on runway 23 right. So 23 right is the runway, and our heading there is going to be 231 degrees. The opposite or the reciprocal course is 051. That's the opposite runway. So 051 is what I'm going to put in over here. 051 on the radial. Okay? And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to look at the arrival really fast, which is the ILS DME. And then we're going to zoom in up here. Now this is where I'm a little bit fuzzy with some of this. This basically gives you altitudes to avoid minimum altitudes so you don't run into stuff. And I believe that what you do is, depending upon your heading, you can set up special radials so that it shows you how to avoid that. All I'm going to do is draw a 25-mile ring around this point, MCT, which is the VOR. So this one's going to be MCT, and I'm going to put a 25-mile ring around the airport. Oh, we have choices. So 5,000 miles away, 2,000 miles away, 300 miles away. I think that's good. 25 miles. And again, you could go put several radials in there so that it will draw on your map, you know, the areas where, you know, there might be a mountain off to the side, and that helps you. So now what do we go and do? Let's see. We're going to come on down here. I'm going to go to progress on this side. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go flight plan on this side. We're going to come up here, and I'm going to shift this to plan mode. And now our mode has changed a little bit, and this is a little bit awkward. So we're going to come here and zoom in. We need to page through the flight plan a bit. Okay, so there we are. Let's see if we come over here, we can get a little closer and tilt down. Right? Okay. So now we can go and just hit the up button down here in the flight management computer and watch our route. All right? So now we come through here. There is a top of climb hockey stick. And as we come on out, we're continuing to page up. There is the equal time point. There's the middle. Equal time on the flight, the halfway point. And as we come in, oh my gosh, you see this little blue line up here? Let's keep going. And now all of our range, all the stuff that we wanted, we've done. So here we are. There's my 5-mile range ring, my 10-mile range ring, my 25-mile range ring, and I have an extended center line out the runway here. So there's our approach, but now I've got a little bit of extra data here. And then the last thing that I've got to learn about this is to go ahead and take this information to be able to put that in here so that I can know what altitudes to avoid, because there might be a mountain in the way, or buildings, or there is a restriction of some sort. So we went and did that, and that's what we've done. I'm going to go back over here to my arc mode, which I generally like to fly with here. And now we're going to go and I'm going to do the progress page, and I'm going to go to the reports page, and this basically gives me all the information I need. We're heading to the ease off waypoint. Next is AMSEN. It's going to tell us what our altitude should be and when we're going to get there. Our top of descent is going to be in 289 miles. And Manchester is 438 miles away. We should be landing at 1520 Zulu. Well, if we look over here at the clock, it is 1412. So we've got a little bit of time. But we can also come over here now, and we're going to go to the pilot briefing, and let's go down to the schedule. And here is our schedule. We're supposed to be at the airport landing at 16:15. So even though we departed a little bit late, oh wait, 15:15, read the wrong side. We're going to be landing at 15:15 Zulu and at the gate at 15:30. This says we're going to be getting there about 5 minutes late. Maybe we'll pick up a little bit of time in, but probably not. And there we go. We are passing 25,000 feet. This is usually when I'll go and do seat belts. At 10,000 feet, I have neglected to turn off my landing lights, my nose light, and I usually do a 10,000-foot cabin call. And that has the flight attendants let them know they can get up and start doing some things. And all of this looks good. So, reports over there, flight plan over there is the way I usually leave these. And everything else appears to be good at the moment. We're continuing the climb, and that looks great. So one of the things I'll do is you can come over here, and we can exit out of the flight plan and go into the Fenix app, and we can come over here to the weather, and I can hit the arrival page. There is the latest METAR. So winds are 160 at 3, the altimeter is 1008, temperature's nice, and if there's ATC, you can hit the VAXEV ATIS for digital. Manchester Information Charlie. Runway 23 right, single runway operations, transition level is 65, altimeter, Information Charlie. How about that? That's really, really nice to have. If you didn't have that, you just view the METAR there. Another way to check this is to come over here and use the VAXEV map. Here we all are taking off over here, and we're heading over to Manchester. So over here you can see that Manchester has delivery, ground, and tower. So what that means is there's no approach control. So we read their ATIS. You get yourself established on a final approach call tower for final clearance to land. That's what you do when there's no center and no approach control. And so that's what we're doing there. This is really early in the day for VATSIM. And so basically for today's flight, I just chose to do this one. And so that's how we did that. So you can go and use this VATSIM radar. We could also go over to another website, SimAware. And SimAware is a really good application. Sadly, the developer on this one has developed some very serious health problems. And yeah, I really feel bad about that because this person really worked hard on this website. But we can still go and get good data information. And over on the data page, you could hit aircraft. And right now in the exciting world of VATSIM, the most popular airplane is the new PMDG 777. There are 325 of them flying right now. Second is this airplane, the A320, then the 737-800, and then the new MD-11 from TFDI. There's 28 of those flying around right now. So this is really cool. The top airline is British Airways, Emirates, Ryanair, and Lufthansa. So that gives you an idea. That's really a cool thing to go and have a look at. But I usually try and leave these things minimized. I'm trying to do all of my flight data here, so that's really nice too. I'm going to go back to Navigraph, and let's get out of this, and then we can zoom this out another click. And that's just going to kind of keep us up to date on where we are. And I've got a nice moving map there. We're approaching 30,000 feet. Our climb is going really good. Top of descent is 255 miles away according to this. We can also just page through the flight plan here. We've already looked at it once before. Oh, look at this. We're going to the Sierra Papa Yankee VOR. I do the spy flight on Twitch, so that is one of my favorite VORs. How about that? Definitely like that. Okay, we can kind of come back here. Now then, one of the things that you could do is if there was ATC in the area, some of the ATC, particularly in Europe, is now starting to do CPDLC that is en route. So as we make our way out of Germany, we could have checked, and if there was ATC up here, we could have logged in to EHAM or whatever the center would have been here, and they could have given us ATC commands like climb and descend and maintain flight level 240, direct to Sierra Papa Yankee. So they could have given us a direct to Sierra Papa Yankee, our favorite VOR. Fact is, there it is right there. It's not much of a direct to right now, but we could have done that. And you could get ATC commands over CPDLC, which is an excellent time saver. This is also really great for some transatlantic flights. They're starting to use the CPDLC system on VATSIM for that too. So that's really good. Now, important safety tip about CPDLC, you will need what's called a Hoppy ACARS logon. And that's at hoppy.nl. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description below for you. It's free, and I use it with multiple airplanes. I use it with, well, practically everything that will take one, including the new PMDG 777 has that, and it has full CPDLC services too. Oh, we got an airplane trail. There's a sky trail up in the sky that we're passing. Let's see if we can see who that might have been. That could have been this Austrian flight here going into Amsterdam. There's another flight going to EGCC. So right now we've got 1,362 connections. There's 1,200 pilots, 15 ATCs, and 99 local ATCs going on right now, which is really nice. So let's see, if you are flying along with me, And that's hopefully the goal here, is that you're flying along pushing the same buttons as I am. That's really one of the best ways to learn these incredibly complex airplanes. If you're flying along with me, this is usually the point in a flight like this where I hit pause on the recording, and you should hit pause on the playback. And what we do is then we look down here, and when we get to top of climb, we're going to get a nice top of descent here. In fact, we've already got a top of descent, 230 miles. So really what I'll do is say when we get to between 75 and 100 miles top of descent, that's when I start the recording again. And that's when you would start the playback so that you can see all the buttons. The only thing that I'll be doing is monitoring fuel. In fact, let's do one fuel monitoring right now. We're coming up on Tenley. So let's come over here to pilot briefing, and we're going to come down here to Tenley. So VAXEV, EZOF, ABSEM, Tenley. That's 22 minutes into the flight, and fuel should be 4.8. So let's see. We'll come over here to the clock and see how we're doing. We're 21 minutes into the flight. We're supposed to be about 22. We're right on time, at least as far as flying time. We're behind schedule, but the flight's on time. And also at Tenley, our fuel should be 4.8. So as we come up, we got a mile to Tenley. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am at 5.0. We're supposed to be at 4.8. We have a little bit more fuel than we need. So that's the good news. We're ahead on the fuel. And that's one of the things. Now, the pilots, they're going to see the little dots there. They're actually going to write down 22 minutes, and then they would write 5.0 over here. So that's one of the things that they'll do, is they'll take the paper flight plan, and each waypoint, they're going to put the numbers in there so that they basically are a check on all the computers. And that's kind of one of the things that the pilots do, is make sure the computers aren't messed up or something. Because, you know, computers can get messed up, right? All right, coming up on our final cruising altitude. So let's see here. How about this is a 60-mile range on the map. How about if we start the recording again? Let's see. So that's 60. We are on the 80-mile range. So when the top of descent, when our top of descent here gets to be 75, okay, when that number is 75, and you see the top of descent hockey stick right about there, that's when you should start hitting record. If you're just watching the video right now, it'll play on and you can see the rest of it. That's just a way for us to go and take a break, enjoy looking out the window, which is really nice, and I absolutely suggest doing this because, hey, if we were flying to Manchester from Hannover right now, this is pretty much what it would look like outside the window, which is absolutely amazing. That's the cool thing about the scenery and the weather here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And there we are, settling into our final cruising altitude. We can come over here to performance, and the airplane is now in cruise mode. Top of descent. So we got another top of descent here. So 75 is going to be our is when we're going to restart the video. Okay. So go grab yourself an extra cup of coffee or your favorite in-flight beverage, and I will see you 75 miles from top of descent. And there we go, 75 miles from top of descent. Welcome back. And our descent should happen at 1452 Zulu. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on back. I hope your flight is going well too. All of a sudden, we have a whole bunch of clouds that have moved into the area here. So it looks like it's going to be a bit of a cloudy arrival here going in. Our airplane is still flying along pretty good. I did a couple of fuel checks as we were crossing over the channel here. So everything is good to go there. Let's see. The next thing that we could do is we could come over in here, and if we want to keep it all within the system here, let's go to weather again, and let's do VATSIM ATIS. Information Charlie is still current. There is still tower, ground, everything at Manchester. So everything looks good to go there. Single runway operations, one way 23 right. is still our runway for the arrival. So no big changes there. Let's go and view the METAR, and it's about time for us to start getting ready to do our descent. So that looks good. Let's come on over here to Navigraph charts, and we're going to come on in here to our Manchester arrival, and the arrival is going to be the OTBED 1 mic, and coming in here at OTBED, we're going to be at flight level 290, flight level 17 at Goals, and flight level 70 at Rosen. So let's go ahead and come over here, and 7,000 feet is going to be what we're going to put in as far as our cleared descent. If ATC was online, they would say cleared to descend via the OTBED 1 mic arrival. That means we can go down to 7,000 feet. We're expected to follow the speed constraints. We're going to be good pilots there. So all of that looks good. We have a top of descent hockey stick that is now 60 miles away, and we should be starting that at Aptos. So that looks good too. Over here you can see our first constraint at OTBED is flight level 290, so we're ready to go with that. About the next thing that we'll probably get here is going to be to put in the arrival data, and we'll do that in a second. If you moved your chair like I did, go ahead, and now is a great opportunity to slide around, make sure that you can get to the rudder pedals and all of your controls. That's just a good thing to do if you move around during cruise. So all of that looks really, really good. And we have got about 55 miles from top of descent. Now is the perfect time for me to do all of those YouTube things that YouTubers say. So thank you very much for watching the video. First of all, I appreciate it. I hope you find the videos helpful. If you do, please think about joining us over on Twitch. We fly every day, Tuesday through Sunday. Our departure time is 1900 Zulu. That's 3 p.m. Eastern time during the summer months in the United States. Every flight is a group flight. We spend a lot of time on VATSIM, and there is also a group of real-world pilots that come in, and I have learned so much from them. So hope you can come over and join us there. If you did like the video, of course, here on YouTube, I'm really kind of relatively new and definitely small here on YouTube. Would love to try and figure out a way to grow the channel. So if you could hit the like button, that would be great. If I got something wrong in this, please put it in the comments. I like to learn from my mistakes. It's every day that you learn something is a good day. So I'm always excited to learn how to do these things a little bit better. And if you really liked it, after corporate layoffs and all sorts of stuff and the end of my career, this is how I keep the bills paid right now. So grateful for everybody that does support me over on Twitch with subscriptions, but also the secret agents, the special agents, and the double O's over on Patreon. That's where I do a morning flight briefing, and I'm so grateful for the support there. There's several ways to do that over here on YouTube. There's the Ko-fi button is below, or you can come on over to Twitch or Patreon and help me keep the pixel plane flying in the right direction. And that's all that we're doing there. I am looking at one of the things that I enjoy doing is at the end of the day, there are all sorts of videos on YouTube about how to cook stuff. And some of them, these are clearly by people who are experts, and there's some things that look really, really tasty. So I was going to try and learn from some of those, and I'm trying to put together some food kinds of things because we're always talking about food on the spy flight. So look for some food things coming to the spy flight if I get the courage to do that. Oh, we have a company message. Let's go and see what that is. So over here, we're going to do McDo menu, ATSU, and air operations and received messages. And this is from Lufthansa operations. You were 13 minutes late. You've got to do something. How do we fix that? All right, come over here. And to do that, go to the delay allocation card. And these are your excuses. So I'm going to go with OTH. And how late were we? We were 13 minutes. So return. Air operations, delay. And for 13 minutes, it was an OTH, and I'm going to say not space ENOUGH space COFFEE. Boy, are you lucky I have a sneeze button on this microphone. Okay, that's good. Not enough coffee. Send. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. Air operations, come on back here. We'll leave that on received messages. How we doing on our descent? Top of descent is... looks like we're coming up on about 20 miles. I'll bet it... oh, look at that. Enter data. Man, we get busy all of a sudden here, don't we? So let's see. We are 24 miles out. So we can probably pop that in. So clear this one. Performance. Phase. And let's come on over here. Click out of here. Go over to the Fenix app. Go over to the arrival data. The altimeter is 1008. So 1008 is our altimeter. The temperature in Manchester is 20 degrees. So we'll put in 20 degrees for the temperature. The wind in Manchester is 160 at 3. 160 at 03. Transition. Did they give us a transition over here? So 8 is automatic runway single 65. So our transition is 065. Look up here. Are we at top of descent? We got about 15 miles. So we're going to get out of this. We can go to charts. And we're going to go and get the arrival chart. And we're going to look down here at the bottom. And the barrow, or the minimum, so is 449 feet. So we're going to put 449. Was it 449? Yep, 449. Put that in here. 449. That goes in the barrow box. That's good. Go back to performance. We're 12 miles from top of descent. And we got another company message from DHL Ops, and that means our pathetic excuse has been received. They didn't say whether or not they bought it or not, but at least it's been received. Okay, let's go bring the map in a few clicks. We're 10 miles out. Here is our top of descent hockey stick, 10 miles out. We got an airplane over here going in the opposite direction. Oh, that thing pops down every now and then. I don't think we're going to see... oh, there it is. There's the trail just above the clouds. And we are coming up on 5 miles. I usually like to hit the button at about 3 miles is when I do that sort of thing. So there we are coming up on 5 miles, well, 6 actually now. 5 miles, so 3 miles is when we're going to press the button, as they used to say at Mystery Science Theater 3000. And what that means is we're going to push the altitude button in for a managed descent. If you don't have a controller and you have to do it within the airplane itself, see my standard pointer here, if you move it to the top, there's an up arrow. That's push it in. A down arrow is pull it out. And there we go. 3 miles. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to push it in. The little dot appears and our descent is beginning. And there we go. And you can see we've got a little blue-green dot right here. That is essentially our descent deviation. And that's how much we're deviating from our optimum descent path. If you're a little high or a little low, you saw there was a squiggly line over here. That's even, I call it the squiggly line. That's where you're going to reacquire your perfect descent profile. And as long as this stays in the middle, you're good. If your speed is going up here, so you can see we've got 2 triangles, a pink triangle and a yellow triangle. As long as those triangles are kind of close together, it does show us accelerating a bit though. So it does show us accelerating a bit on our descent. If we get close to the velocity NOAA speed red bar here, you may need to throw out your speed brakes, and the airplane will very probably tell you that. Now then, let's go ahead and get ready. On the arrival, we're coming into EGCC. So let's see, what do we have here? Approach. EDDL, EGKK. Did they go to bed? Oh, look at that. They went to bed. So here we are coming, and it looks like they had to either go to bed or go to the store or go to work or something. So we're on our own. What we're going to do is we're going to instead now use this, and we're going to have to do our own air traffic control. But that's okay. We can do this. It looks as though we're pretty good here as far as the arrival. What do we have? We have 20 arrivals right now to come into Manchester. Let's see, got an EasyJet. Those are departures. Let's look at arrivals. So we got one airplane that's arriving right now. G-Hunt is coming in. We have another one. My ETA is 1505. That's 1511. So there's an EasyJet 8240 we got to keep an ear out for. I think we're going to get there sooner. So let's just continue to do what we're doing, and we'll watch out for that. That's the next airplane to come in. Now, those are things that you don't normally do as a part of your flying. But if you're going to fly in VATSIM and Unicom, that's how you keep your life pretty good. We're not going to do this whole approach. We're going to give ourselves a direct 2 since we're essentially next in line. So after goals, we're going to continue the descent, and we're going to direct ourselves out to 3,500. So I'm going to go ahead and set that right now. So we're going to go to 4,000 here and switch it to 100s, and 3,500 is our descent. Okay, looking good. We're 60 miles from all of this, and there's our center line. We're going to intercept our center line here. We're not going to do any of this because nobody else is there. It's all ours, so we can direct ourselves. Coming up on 25,000 feet, I'm going to go ahead and do seat belts. There we go. And this airplane is so cool. If you look, you can see that we have seatbelt lights and no smoking lights. They work in the airplane. They're starting to do that, which is really amazing here in Flight Sim. There's 25,000. All of this is looking good. I'm going to go ahead and kick this over here, but we're going to get out of this right now. Sometimes trying to get out of this chart, back out of the charts is hard. There we go. So we're still tracking ourselves. There's our airplane. I'm going to go and start pushing this in because this is going to be my ground chart. And so I'm going to start pushing this way, way, way in now. And now we'll go back to Manchester and we'll go back to the ILS. That's going to be all set and ready to go because that's going to be our moving ground chart coming in. There is 23,000. Flight level 170 looks good. And so we'll hit this and then do an open descent is what we'll plan on doing. Now then, you see that my descent froze. That frozen descent is scenery loading. That's one of the big problems in the simulator right now. If you got a really nice airport, not the most powerful system in the world, that's going to be a hard part for you, is coming in with those big hesitations. And the best thing to do is just wait them out. Don't be pushing a whole lot of buttons because that just overloads the sim and that'll crash you coming on in, and that's no fun at all. Holy moly, look at this. The weather outside is frightful. What's the temperature outside the airplane? It is 7 degrees. We're in clouds. Eek! I'm going to do engine anti-ice. There might not be ice going, but I'm not going to risk having a problem. Temperature is rising. I should have been on top of that sooner. I've actually had a simulated airplane fall out of the sky. Whoops, there's a microphone there. I'd had a simulated airplane fall out of the sky because of this, of icing. We were above 35,000 feet in X-plane in the flight factor 757. Not a thing I could do to save it. Couldn't restart, couldn't do anything. We just went auguring into the ground. Okay, well, let's go ahead and bring the map in a click. There is our center line, so that's good. Coming up on 19,000 feet. We're supposed to be at flight level 170 at goals. We're right where we're supposed to be. We are 101 miles away from Manchester. Clouds are starting to break apart. That's kind of nice. Our descent is going good. And all is right with the world. If you want to be like the real pilots, you should go into the radio nav, RadNav, and check your arrival. It's INN 109.5 and INN 109.5. Let's also look at the inbound course. And let's see, INN 109.5. It hasn't put the course in yet. It hasn't done that. Our inbound is 232. This one says 231. So my guess is that's it right there. So we check that. That looks good. There's the flight plan. I'm going to leave this over here on performance for now. Here's our turn. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to go and pull the dial. It's not a knob here in the UK. It's a dial. And we're going to pull it out, and I'm going to do an open descent now to flight level 350. Let's also go ahead and we're going to pull the heading, and that's 280, and I'm going to pull speed 337. We're going way too fast. How about 290 for now? So 290, speed brakes coming out. We're going to need some help with the speed brakes too. There goes our speed brakes out, and that looks good. There goes our speed down. I'm going to continue to do my speed reduction now to 250. And that looks good too. Let's go ahead and we're going to activate LS now, the landing system. That's looking good. All is right with the world there. We may not be descending fast enough, so I'm going to increase my rate of descent to about 1,500 feet per minute and leave my speed brakes out and reduce my speed now to 210. We're still at 260, but as we get closer and closer, we're now officially high and fast, so there we go. We are 10 miles from making our turn. Let's go ahead and call in. Manchester traffic, there is a Lufthansa A320. We are approximately 80 miles to the north of the airport, setting up for the ILS runway 23 right, Manchester. That's called announcing your intentions. Okay, we're below the little hash marks here. So these little hash marks says that's your safe flap extend speed. Let's get the flaps out, get a little bit more drag here, and I'm going to continue to increase my rate of descent because we're still high. And looking good. Way too high. Super duper high, but we want to get into the airport before the other airplane shows up, right? 30 miles out, we could do this. We're holding about 210 knots. That's not so bad. Okay, you can see over here we have a little hockey stick showing up. My guess is that little hockey stick right there tells us our descent. I think this hockey stick still thinks that we're doing all of this. So let's go ahead and we're going to do a direct to. I think we want CF. It's kind of hard to tell. There's a lot of junk on that map. CF23 right. Let's do CF23 right. How we doing on our turn? That's our turn. Let's do it. So insert. That's going to take control of our heading and put us on there. Looking good. Okay, and now we've got a squiggly over here, says we're going to hit our altitude right about there. We're still a touch high, but that's okay. Manchester traffic, that Lufthansa A320 is now turning finals. We are about 20 miles out from runway 23 right, Manchester. Okay, looking good there. And all of that looks good. We're going to have to decelerate here in just a bit. Okay, our squiggly is getting closer and closer now. So I'm going to put the speed brakes away now and see. Our speed is going to kick up a little bit. There's 10,000 feet, landing lights, nose lights, cabin call. I think we're out of the icing zone now. We'll verify it. And we are
Right,
7 degrees.
Alpha,
Actually, no, we're not.
We're
We're going to go ahead and keep those going. 25 miles out. There's my 25-mile range ring. Wow, do we get busy. The altimeter, once again, here in Manchester is, let's hit the METAR button. It's 1008. I'm going to put 1008 down here as my reminder in case I get busy and don't have time to look it up. 10,000 feet, landing lights, nose lights, everything else looks good. I'm done with speed brakes. I'm going to arm those. We're going to go ahead and do auto brakes too. And all of this looks good. Let's go ahead and 180 on our speed now. Just got a little bit of a bump in the air there. May need the speed brakes again. See if we can save all this one. There is another set of hash marks for more flaps. That's going to help us out a little bit too. 23 miles out, so I think everything's good. Flaps 2, speed brakes down. You do have to re-engage those speed brakes though after you use them. Okay, there's 9,000, not descending fast enough. Come on, airplane. Gotta keep that descent going. So I'm using variable speed here on this. The VS, vertical speed. Now we're still a little bit high. Okay, here comes this little line. We are 10 miles out, there's 180. Now, come on down here to performance. Over on the performance side, we're gonna activate approach mode. Sometimes that's automatic, sometimes it isn't. That gives us our final approach speed. How about landing gear? Let's get that going out here too while we're really, really busy. And we're gonna increase our rate of descent a little bit now because we're definitely a little bit high. So our rate of descent is now 3,000 feet per minute. And there's 180. Manchester traffic, the Lufthansa A320 is now 20-mile finals for 23 right. Manchester. 7,300 feet per minute. Okay, I've got localizer. So let's go ahead and hit the localizer button. Get a little help from the localizer. And it's going to turn over and put us on the localizer. We're off to the side. Altimeter reset, 1008. So 1008 over there. And 1008 for the first officer. There we go. That looks good. We're lining up on the localizer nicely. 5,700 feet. We're still a little bit high, but I think we're going to be pretty good. I see no sign of an airport out there. So final, go ahead and get yourself set up in the chair. It's almost time to take control from the airport. Got another one of those freezes as Manchester Airport loads in. Hey, we got glide slope and localizer now. So let's come over here and get help from the system, switching over from localizer mode to approach mode. And at that point in time, we are slightly below the glide slope, so that's good. And we'll just let it continue down to 3,500, 15-mile finals.
2,500.
We're slightly low. All right, final check. Speed brakes. Auto brakes. Looking good. Still descending a little bit fast, but it's going to stop here at 3,500 until we acquire the glide slope. So that's good. I'm going to click the map in one last click. Coming up on that 10-mile range ring. So there's the 10-mile range ring. Here comes the 5. That really helps. And look at that. Airplane looks awesome. Everything's good here. Let's do a final cabin call. Let's check the temperature. It is 15 degrees. We don't need anti-ice anymore. If you decide you want to leave Uncle Ice on, that's up to you. But anti-ice is done. And there is your third really bad joke for the flight. We'll give you a dumb drum roll on that one. Okay, looking good here. Here comes the glide slope. And we actually made it. So a little bit of a power down as far as our descent, but we did pretty good. And at the 10-mile range ring, Manchester traffic, the Lufthansa A320 is now 10-mile finals, landing runway 23 right, Manchester. We're going to keep our speed up to 180 knots until 5 miles DME. That's for airplanes following. Something to actually, be prepared for when you're on a big VAXEV event. We just got a call from the cabin. What's going on, cabin? Cabin is secured. Thank you so much. And we'll go back over there, turn the cabin off. I don't see the airport. No sign of it. We've got a 5-mile range ring, so we're good to go there. And when you have a second, head on back to the cabin. Do a look outside. It's so nice. If you're an AV geek, of course you'll do that. Tower just popped up. Crap. 11863. Eek. 11863 on final. 11863. We're going to have to do this fast. 118630. Manchester Tower, hello from Lufthansa 441. We are very short finals now with information Golf for 23.
Lufthansa 441, good afternoon. Manchester Tower, runway 23 right, clear to land, surface calm.
Clear to land, 23 right, Lufthansa 441, thanks. That was scary. Okay, 5-mile finals. We missed our slowdown, flaps 3. That will sometimes happen on VAXEV. It'll just pop up like that, so you have to be ready for it. And flaps are full. ECAM checklist is green.
1,000.
I still don't see the runway. Okay, there's the runway through the sogginess. So winds are relatively nice right now. We got a breeze from the left blowing us to the right. Got a couple of raindrops out there too. And I usually wait until the airplane is stable. That's step 1 before I turn off the autopilot. Are we stable on the approach? Speeds are set. And step 2 is, can I see the runway? I see it. Autopilot's off. And then click the button again. That stops the red light from flashing. Hands on the throttles. Get ready to slow it down and reverse.
400.
Keep an eye in the upper left. That'll be our landing rate from Flow Pro.
300. 100 above. 200. Minimum.
Landing.
100.
Light slope.
40. 30. 20. Retard.
Oh, I pulled it a little too late.
10. 5.
Reverse. Knots, reversers away, auto brakes off, speed brakes down, Minus 166 for a landing rate. I don't think that's too terribly bad. And off on the high speed. Flaps going up. And around we go here. Back to Navigraph. Clear this out. Landing lights off. Strobes off. I think I got more than the strobes.
441, welcome to Manchester Taxi Stand 25 via Alpha and Delta.
Stand 25 now via Alpha and Delta for Lufthansa 441. Okay, so stand 25 Alpha and Delta. This is also one of the busiest times that you're going to be in the cockpit. So as prepared as you possibly can be is good. That's why I preset my ground chart. Okay, we can clean up some cockpit. LS can go off. That looks good. We can also turn off predictive wind shear. That looks good. Flaps are up, speed brakes are down. Alpha and Delta. So here we are on Alpha. We're looking for Delta. And it was stand 25, right? Come on, airplane. Don't stop. And let's see, in the US, we would be turning on our APU. Here in Europe and the UK, we don't want to do that. Up here, our landing was really pretty good. I did stretch it out just a little bit. We were supposed to touch down here. I was still in the safe zone before a go around. No bounces and a minus 166. That is an awesome landing rate. I'm gonna cook an extra steak today or something. Or not an extra one, but there you go. Okay, there is Alpha and Delta. So trying to find your way around this airport is kind of a bit of a nightmare. So Alpha and Delta. All right, which one's Delta? There's Alpha and Delta. Okay, so I think we make the turn up here for Alpha. So that's Alpha around there, Delta, and we're going to stand 25. Stand 25. Let's see, they're going to be closing this down. That's 50, 41, stand 25. There's 107. Stand 25 is right here, Pier C. Okay, straight at the end of Delta. Cool. We now know what we're doing. So now that we've figured that out, I'm going to get out of this again and have this track us. Well, we made it. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was arrested. So the big things that I've been learning with this airplane is how to effectively use CPDLC, which works really, really well. And you saw how easy it was to get our clearance out. There wasn't any en route air traffic control, but especially in Europe, they're starting to use that more and more these days. You can see my airplane is really pulling off to the right here. That's my nose. My twist stick is just in really, really bad shape right now. So that makes taxiing a bit of a nightmare here, especially in a right turn. So I've got to replace this soon. There's a way to take these things apart and clean it, but it's not very good. Continue to come on around here, and we're going to look for taxiway Delta, which is our next available left, and then straight on into the runway. And all of that looks good. They are apparently doing a bunch of work here at Manchester. They're about ready to, I guess, rip out a terminal. Look at that. There's a D right in the ground there. How about that? Come on around here. Let's see. After 3 minutes, we could go and start doing a one-engine taxi. Uh-oh. It's a little bit lumpy here. A little lumpy there at the airport. So we'll come on over here, get ready for that. And that'll do it. We're going to come on into the gate here, and we'll get ourselves all set up with the jetway. Passengers can get off. This airplane is really good. If you wanted to, you could leave the airplane on VATSIM, power on, and you could start planning for another flight. Remember, mostly, you know, an airplane's going to sit on the ground, what, 30 minutes to an hour before it takes off on its next flight? That's one of the things that you could do. We call it over on the spy flight continuing service. So at this point, it's also a good time for me to say thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video helped out a little bit, and you're able to enjoy this airplane as much as I am. It's an absolutely amazing airplane. This one, and you know, the PMDG, where is our line? Nope, there it is. It's over here. That's where we're going. Okay, I see. I made a little bit of a turn here. So this airplane is absolutely amazing. The PMDG 777 is just out and just as detailed as this one. I mean, they've got a real winning airplane with that too. Okay, we're a little bit close, but we should be able to make our turn. And we've got a ground tug that's in there. And holy moly, would you look at the scenery. We've got like a cliff here. There's like a cliff in the scenery. Okay, roller coaster time, kids. Throttle's all the way down. Oh my gosh. Well, that was entertaining. And it looks like we got some ground markings here. A320. So the A320 is our first set of marks here. Let's see if we can go forward a little bit. And we'll put ourselves right on that little mark there. That's about as good as I think we're going to get it. Okay, parking brakes going on. That was a little bit crazy. Come on over here. We're going to stop squawking. The APU did not get popped on. So what we do is come over here and we're going to click this. Let's go to the Fenix app. Let's go to ground services and we're going to put in chocks and cones and attach the ground power unit. Okay, with that in there, we're going to go and turn off the nose light too. And now with ground power available, we can do external power and we can do engine number 1 and engine number 2, and those can shut down. As those are going off, we'll turn off seat belts, and we can also do our fuel pumps at that point, and we can turn off the beacon. Let's see, ground power is established, and now it says, do you want to deboard the airplane? Sure do, but we do have to toggle our own jetway on this one, and that little sunshade came down again. And so this comes over here. This airplane will deboard everything. It will also unload the cargo for you. So again, like I said, you could go ahead and do a secondary flight. If we sit here long enough, you'll see the cargo bays will open as it unloads itself. And that scenery error is pretty entertaining too. But we made it. I hope this helped out. Learning to use CPDLC is really a time saver for me. Also, drawing those little range rings around there, you saw how that really helped. Oh, and we have one more company message. So we could go back to McDo menu, ATSU, air traffic, air operations control, receive messages. We have an arrival message. Hey, look at that. We have arrived. We arrived at 15:20. So if we look over here and do the pilot brief, and come down here, our last little rabbit hole, we'll go to the schedule. We arrived at 15:20. We're supposed to be in at 15:30, so guess what? We made up 10 minutes. An early arrival time. Okay, this is where I say thank you so much for watching. I hope that this helped. I hope you are having as much fun with these amazing airplanes as so many of us are. I hope you'll get a chance to join us over on the 757 Spy Flight. Again, we fly every day, Tuesday through Sunday. 1900 Zulu is our departure time. So thanks for watching. And as I like to wrap it up, please stay healthy, please stay safe, and we'll see you in the friendly sim skies. Cheers.